JamesSchramko.com was the first domain I ever registered. So here we are, 17 years later, and I'm back to the very first domain that I registered. Now, could I have just stayed on that the whole time? No. There's a few reasons why. I'll get to that in a minute. But it is kind of nice to get back to my original domain, and it is a bit of nostalgia. James Schramko here, and welcome to my podcast. This is episode 927, and I'm going to be explaining to you why I changed the name of my business from SuperFastBusiness to JamesSchramko.com. Get ready. Firstly, the process of how I got to this point, it wasn't an overnight decision. I actually spent months thinking about it. I made a lot of notes. I even asked questions to myself as if I was my own coach. And things like, who am I? Who do I serve? How do I help them? What would a simple and effective website platform look like for me now, given everything that I know? If I could wave a magic wand, what would be the ideal situation? And I came up, I went back and forth through several iterations of where I wanted to go. But in this process, I actually spoke with lots of my close contacts, people who are partners in various businesses with me, a couple of clients whose opinions I really regard. And then I let it just sit. I thought about it a lot when I was not in front of my computer. And I feel really good about the solution that we came up with. So we ended up migrating a whole lot of stuff, lots of websites, not just SuperFastBusiness, but that was certainly the biggest. We're also moving across Silver Circle, and we're moving across Superfast Results. And we're also rolling up my 4 co-hosted podcasts that I did, which were Kicking Back with Joel Osborne, Freedom Ocean with Tim Reed, Think, Act, Get with Ezra Firestone, and Sales Marketing Profit with Taki Moore. All of those podcasts will be available on a category page at jamesschramko.com. So you can still listen to those episodes if you're interested in some of the background, even though they're quite old. So reason number 1, in short, what I do with my clients and how I help them is very personal. So there's no point hiding behind a business brand when I am the sole operator. And that really factored into it. When people reference me or my podcast, they say, hey, I heard you. When my partners say that someone got in contact with them because they heard me on the podcast, they say, hey, I heard about you on Schramko's podcast. They don't say, I heard about you on Superfast Business. So really the brand Superfast Business only had meaning because I gave it meaning. So if I bring my stuff back to my personal brand, then the meaning is simpler because it's just me. Reason number 2 is nostalgia. JamesSchramko.com was the first domain I ever registered. So here we are, 17 years later, and I'm back to the very first domain that I registered. Now, could I have just stayed on that the whole time? No. There's a few reasons why. I'll get to that in a minute. But it is kind of nice to get back to my original domain, and it is a bit of nostalgia. Reason number 3, Superfast Business was formed when I still had a job, and I actually needed a structure to put things on that was not tied to me initially. It was originally a roll-up of a whole bunch of my other websites. So that's reason number 4. When I had all these different services, I had ATL Web, SEO Partner, Buy with Bonus, Fast Web Formula, Internet Marketing Speed. I actually rolled all of them up into Superfast Business. But as I progressively sold off those businesses, I spun them back out to their own sites and sold them off. I ended up basically having a much clearer function. I really just publish a podcast and provide coaching. That is the main thing that I do. And now I've got partnerships. And over time, over the last 5 years, they've gone from 0 to being a good chunk of my income. So reason number 5 is I've outgrown the Superfast Business phase. Initially, I was Internet Marketing Speed and Fast Web Formula. And they're kind of catchy names for the online marketing crowd, but they're not mature enough. And then I went to Superfast Business. I wanted a domain that I could be general with in the business space. And at the time, there were 3 things that you can choose from, and you can pick two. You can be good, you can be cheap, you can be fast. Now, I didn't want to be cheap. I don't want to be the low-cost provider in the marketplace. I'm not a budget sort of a guy. I came from Mercedes-Benz and I do quality work. I want to be good, and fast is good. And people say things like money loves speed or whatever. But I can tell you, as I've matured and grown up, I realized that speed is not everything. For me, it's far more about sustainability and the long term. So the fast part doesn't really need to be there anymore. And the super part, it's kind of a bit cheesy. And, even one of my sons, Jensen, makes a bit of fun of that logo. He's like, super fast, fast, fast. So every time I heard the logo, or every time I'm giving my email address, I thought, you know what? It doesn't resonate with me. And I really want to love the brand that I work for. And I'm pretty attached to my name. I've had it for 50 years. I think my mum gave me a great name, and I'm proud of my name. I don't want to hide from it. So it was, I'd outgrown that phase, and I stopped wanting to be super fast. Reason number 6 is the personal brand is better for my now business model. My now business model is helping 10 business partners grow their business. So I've got a collection of business partners, and I'm a stakeholder in their business, and I'm helping them grow their business. And I believe I can attract a bigger audience by being me. It also is just so much easier with having a better focus, and I'll get to that in a minute. Reason number 7 is I don't need to sell super fast business, because if I want to do that, I'd probably need to spend 2 or 3 years to take myself out of the business. It was certainly an option, and I started down that path. But if I'm going to do that time and energy, why not just put that into my partners? Because I've got partnerships where I am not known. I'm not the face of the brand. I'm not in control of the business. I'm just a slice holder of it. And if they sell, I get a payout, which is great. So I can now sell 10 businesses that I am growing and not worry so much about trying to sell super fast business. Plus, it's kind of a little bit messy with some of the emails and payments and all of that coming into the account. I think it would actually be hard to organize it to sell, but it's much easier just to take all the energy from it, tip it into a strong brand, my personal name, and move forward. Reason number 8, it's just so much simpler. One website. We have so much clarity. Our team is it's so easy. Instead of social media accounts for our business and our personal, there was mine, there was the businesses for Instagram, for Twitter, not for LinkedIn, because that was always personal, for YouTube. It's 2 sets of everything. We had this crazy situation where my personal Instagram and the business Instagram both had thousands of followers, but if we just focused on one, maybe we could have had a lot more and had purity and clarity and focus. So it's just so much easier, less administration, less website updates. We also deleted 4 or 5 other websites that we had in the background, and we've also migrated off people's websites that we were hosting as favors to friends, etc. So it just got simpler. Reason number 9, I really want to support the platform that I've been helping develop for many years. And it's got so many successful students. I need to be using that platform more. I have been using, of course, I'm talking about 10X Pro. I've been using it on super fast results. I used it in a non-internet marketing space as well for a project that I have concluded now. I love the platform. It's really good. And I wanted to put my new membership iteration on there. I want to put new products, new names, and new ways that we are able to interact with the community. And the best way for me to do that is to use it. I want to use my product. I want authenticity. I want the integrity of saying to people, listen, this is the product I recommend, and I use it. So our whole back-end platform and all of our front funnels are going to be built on this platform. I'm currently building that out now. I'm pretty excited about the way that it functions, because in the old platform, it works quite well, but there's too much stuff, and it's been going for so long. I mean, seriously, I've been running memberships since 2009, so I've got so much stuff. I need to archive, prune, clean, and I'm only going to just bring across the best stuff, and I'm going to create the packages in the way people want their coaching and their help. So also, I know my customers are very switched on, and they're going to come up with lots of ideas which will help us speed up the learning curve. Reason number 10, I saw a couple of things on social media, and also I found one with my research that really brought this home. One of them was this video of Steve Irwin, and he had such passion and clarity and purpose. I thought, I want that much clarity. But I didn't have that much clarity because I was doing my personal stuff. I was doing my business stuff. We were across a lot of properties. We had 4 podcast sites. And I really crave that simple mission. I want to be excited and know exactly what I'm doing. And now I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm creating content that's useful for people, and I'm solving business problems for my partners and my coaching students. That's it. That's my business model. I also wanted to make it much, much simpler for anyone who has to come along in the future and sort out my stuff. So that's kind of a bonus reason there. If anything, speaking of Steve Irwin, unfortunately, he was involved in a tragic wildlife accident. If anything ever happened to me, it would be just so much simpler for my team and my wife, et cetera, to sort out stuff from a legacy perspective than having all this stuff. We've just done all the hard work to roll it up, but that would be really hard without me around. Not to take anything away from the team, who were brilliant sorting out the mess. Reason number 11, I'm ready to be front and center and not behind the scenes. I felt like I've been sitting on the sides. I've been the guy behind the famous guys. I coach a lot of famous online entrepreneurs. If you speak to a lot of the people whose names I may have been somewhere in the background there. Lots of the guys and girls, been from 6 figures to 7 to 8, doing really well. Lots of the big names. I could list off the names, but I don't need to do that. You probably know these people anyway. And some of them chime in and say, yes, I've had some help from, or they've been willing to give me a statement. But for the most part, I've been happy just to be in the background. I don't need to be super famous. So this isn't about a big fame grab. It's just about clarity, purpose, simplicity. And I did happen to stumble across in my research an old blog post from about 2010, and it was the 50 best blogs on the internet. And somehow I scored a position in there, which is crazy because I'm not a blogger. But at the time, I was doing pretty good work, back in 2010. But some of the names on that list, Tim Ferriss, for example, Lewis Howes, some of these people have just gone on to be phenomenal, huge followings, whatever, and they've really leaned into the personal brand. Yes, I'm too late to the party for the personal brand, but maybe I'm not. Let's just see what happens. Of course, it's a hypothesis. You never really know when you make a change like this. But I feel so good about it right now. I feel like this was the right thing to do. I've had really, really good feedback from my audience. I've had a great new website design thanks to Greg Merrilees at studio1design.com. It looks fantastic. Our site should rank really well because we've got all those nice, juicy 301 redirects from all my old sites. And my podcast is ranking really well. So absolutely delighted to be able to now say, James Schramko here, welcome to my podcast. I like it. It just sounds right. So I hope you continue this journey with me. I don't know if it's a great move or not. Maybe we'll have a look in the future and talk about if it was. And I've got lots and lots of things that I'm really excited about. One thing is I'm going to start producing great YouTube videos of some of my best information products. I'm going to give them away for free, because it's time. So let's see what we can do together. Thank you so much for watching this, for listening to this, however you're consuming it. If you enjoy my stuff, would you please go ahead, make a comment, subscribe, leave a review wherever you see this. I really want to interact with you. This is personal, and I look forward to creating some great stuff for you. James Schramko here, and welcome to my podcast. I don't know what episode it is. I better look it up. This is episode 926. It's not 926.